Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Distance Dilemma podcast. My name is Shaun. This is Imran. He is in Switzerland. I am in Dublin, and this is our long distance friendship podcast. This is episode number 16. Imran, how are you, my friend?
Didn't realise we were 16 episodes deep. That's crazy.
Yeah. I didn't follow the exact same formula on that intro, but I thought that was fairly solid.
No, I mean, I know we talk about this in like every podcast, but like the introductions from like week one to now is just, it's like he has it down to a T. It's like it's not even scripted anymore. It's just natural.
It's just off the cuff.
Yeah.
I did get voted second most likely to be a chat show host in school. I think I lost.
Really?
I think I lost it to Bolo or something like that.
I
remember.
yeah.
I think it was like the only thing I came close to winning that, like, you know, the end of year awards, like
end of year awards.
Things,
yeah.
Things that you used to like kind of get thrown in. Like
I could see you as a chat show host though. Like I feel like that could be a profession.
Well, like this is the beginning of that journey.
Yeah.
Looking at back in this podcast in 10 years' time, be like, right, this is where somebody scouted Shaun. You know.
This is the start of. You'd be the new Late Late Show host.
Yeah, we already kind of explained the concept of the Late Late Show for anybody who isn't. Before we've like, I feel like sometimes I can like, I feel like when I listen back to the podcast at times I mansplain quite a bit.
So,
but like I get it, but I'm also like I'm trying to be like, oh, there's people who like aren't from Ireland who are listening. Like I know you have mates from Switzerland that are listening every week, and like even at that, like I have mates that listen that weren't born here, or like there's just like different like kind of things around it. So like I get halfway through them, or like I'd be listening back to the podcast and be like, am I like mansplaining here? Like is everyone watch this company like, oh shut the fuck up, please?
I think it's more for our YouTube viewers, because I feel like because it's the way we post the podcast, like we're able to view which sides of the world people are listening to the podcast, and we're not able to do that necessarily on the YouTube channel, or I think you can, but I just haven't checked it yet. But the views on the YouTube tend to be a bit more for the video type episodes of the podcast. So I'm intrigued to see where the views are of people watching them episodes, because I think it might be even faster on the opposite side of the world that we mightn't even know about. Where I feel like when people are watching the podcast on Spotify, it tends to be people we know, like genuinely on a day-to-day basis, or like they're in like our circles.
They're in our lives, or in our circles.
Yeah, our lives, like kind of thing. Yeah.
So like our real like fandom is like harvesting over on YouTube. So if anybody wants to go over to our YouTube channel, while we're plugging here, if anybody is listening to the podcast on Spotify and would like to just watch the podcast and see my guitars in the background, see Imran's dark Batman cape.
And you know the thing as well, I literally just ordered they're like hooks for the wall that you can put vinyls on, but the problem is they're actually going above the vinyl, which is on, if for anyone that's listening on Spotify, it's like I'm pointing my left hand out towards the door, which is not facing where the camera is, so my wall will still be blank this week, even though my idea was to put them there. So I don't know, I'm in a bit of a dilemma. I think I might just put like, I don't know, like a painting or something there, but I haven't picked one out yet that I like, that kind of way. I mean, that would be a bit wild, anyone walking in just seeing Finn's titty on the wall, but yeah.
It wouldn't be the first time. So
I mean, to be honest,
these things happen to the best.
There's actually some crazy videos of you a couple of years ago. Like there's one that I just can't get out of my head. It's like the one you sent for Nicola's birthday, and it's so funny.
Simone keeps telling me to post that, like, and make that a public thing. I'll mansplain for anybody. I made this video a couple of years ago, and I think I was talking to Simone about it. I think I made this for Nicola's birthday during COVID.
You did.
I think it was just like, I was in the middle of making loads of TikToks, and I just thought it'd be funny, and I made a video, and so it's basically a video where I talk real sexy and do like, not a striptease, but like, I'm wearing less clothes than I usually wear. And I just
the listeners this week are gonna be like, what the hell am I listening to?
And I love how it would be like, so like Shaun sends this to one of his best mate's girlfriends.
Yeah, literally. Everyone in the comment section is gonna be like, what the fuck?
But it just turned like, I made it, and because it was Nicola's birthday, and there's also Mango's birthday on the same day. I was like, oh, it's grand. Like I made it kind of thinking, because I was like a bit like, me and Nicola were quite close at that point as well. So it's like, oh, I'll make her for Nicola, and then like I didn't say in the video happy birthday to Nicola or happy birthday to Mango or happy birthday to whoever. I just like, what is it, happy birthday you queen or something like that. So that got a great laugh from you, from Nicola, from Mango, and stuff like that. So I just started doing it as a thing I send to my close friends on their birthdays. And funnily enough, it was my drummer Adam's birthday, like 2 days ago or something like that. And I sent it to him, and he, like, I just said to him, I saw him the day before and gave him a card and, like, you know, a box of Red Bull, you know, because that's what all drummers need.
That's what he loves. Yeah. Card and Red Bull. Yeah.
And I said to him, I was like, you'll get something else tomorrow. And somebody, one of his mates beside him said, is it a dick pic? And I said, you're not totally off in that. It's not a dick pic. It's not going to answer with my dick. But you're not a million miles off. Like, honestly. Yeah. And Simone keeps telling me to make it a public thing, like to put it on TikTok.
It's going now on you know it's going to go now on the Instagram page. Because you've said this now, it's going. Next week, guys, you're having a nice video. We're going to say to all our viewers' birthdays.
Anybody who DMs the Instagram page and is already following the Instagram page, I'll send you the video. Even if it's your birthday, okay?
Clip one. Clip one.
Okay.
Clip one, sorted.
Okay, fuck. But yeah, Simone's been like, and the thing I was like, I was wondering like if it would be like a taboo thing, it would be, but like Simone's like, no, it's like the funniest thing. Simone thinks like it would go like viral.
Oh yeah, it definitely would. Totally, it's viral.
But the other thing is as well, like it's in my old bedroom when I lived with my mum, and there's like when I lived with my mum, I had photos. Like I didn't have wallpaper. I didn't have. Well, there was paint there, but I basically done that thing that all 14-year-old girls do, and covered their wall with photos and concert memorabilia. So like I had set lists covering one wall. I had like a wall full of photos. Now like it was nice, and like I used to have like a this is like will show like my autism. I used to have a chart which tracked how many times somebody was on the wall, and Imran and Nicola were up there. Like you guys were both in the top 5. Like I think Imran was up there minimum 30 times.
I mean, I'm great for wank material. That's all I'm saying.
But yeah, it was one of those things that I started when I was like 14, 15. And I just never really took it down or stopped. Like I filled one wall and it was like, oh, that looks pretty cool, and it did look pretty cool. But then like it went around my whole bedroom, and like you can see a lot of it.
Pretty much Jeffrey Dahmer's extra room, basically.
If you walked in there, you wouldn't think a 20-year-old lad was living there. You would think if it's a guy, it's a serial killer. If it's a 14-year-old girl,
a girl. It's like an episode of Zodiac.
There's a big Liam Gallagher poster as well, which just gives me the ick as well, because I used to love Oasis.
We should do an episode just basis on like us going up to the different generations, like you know where you went through your Oasis phase. For me, it was wearing
the Oasis period was like the dark ages for me. Like I don't like to talk about my Oasis phase.
It was like me when I had all the piercings, and I had the Justin Bieber hair, and there's a really bad era where even before that, actually before I knew you, I used to wear Fafera hats because Bruno Mars wore them. Oh man, that's I'm sure Odie or something. My neighbour will find he'll find a photo, but we'll do an episode on that another week.
Yeah, I'm just like it honestly, one of the biggest things for me is the Liam Gallagher poster, because it's like it's just a full thing, and it's so like in the video for the first 5 seconds, like it's because I come out of a wardrobe in the video, so like I come out of the wardrobe where it's on, or it's next to, like, so you'll see it and you'll be like, oh, this fella likes Oasis, and like I'm just so over that point of my life where like I just hate Oasis now, like, you know, and I used to love them as a teenager. But yeah, dark times. But I honestly would take my Jedward phase over my Oasis phase.
Why is it that you just like stopped listening to them, or like you just got out of them?
I think I don't know, my balls dropped, or like my front. What's the thing? Is it your frontal lobe in your brain that develops, or something like that, when you get into your early 20s?
Yeah.
And I think that just developed, and I said, you know what? I'm not a misogynistic cunt that takes cocaine, so I should probably stop listening to these guys. Like seriously, in seriousness, like I was listening to them a lot up till COVID, right? I loved Oasis, and I was like a big fucking fanboy, and I didn't do the walk, but you know, I bought the Parkas and I was growing my hair long and like doing all that sort of stuff. And over COVID, I started listening to lots of new music, and that's when I started recording my own music and stuff. And I just kind of like stopped listening to Oasis, not like purposely. I just like naturally started listening to other bands. I got into other stuff, and then like when I came back to listen to Oasis after like not listening to them for like a couple of months, I actually was like, I actually don't like this music at all.
Yeah.
Um, so like I don't want to sound like a snob and be like, oh, I listen to like better music or something like that. But like that's I think I just like moved on from it.
From
Like
that
I
time,
just
yeah.
I stopped liking like I'd stopped thinking rock and roll was all about like taking coke and being a bit of a prick online. I was like, no, you can be rock and roll and like just be fucking really good and be
Be a
fit
nice guy.
and be a nice person, like that like I was worried that I would like I was worried that if I was like an Oasis fan, especially releasing music, that I would get kind of thrown into that kind of crowd,
Bracket.
and I don't want to be perceived as one of those 40-year-old men that walk around like Liam Gallagher throwing their shoulders and their
Oh man,
arse is at
we've
the
seen them.
fucking
We've seen them together.
yeah, man. Like it's yeah. I just was like, I don't want this to be people's perception of me about as an artist,
Literally.
and like if they haven't seen me in 5 years, do they still think I'm like that? So that's kind of where that drifted off to. Do you have any like other artists like you were huge into like not long ago, or like in your teens
Not
or whatever?
artists, but when I was growing up, and I'd say I was like 11 or 12, like I only listened to house music. That was the only music I listened to. I did not listen to any other genre or nothing, and um, and it was very like I don't know. People might notice on like when they're listening. There used to be this like YouTube channel called Showtech, and they used to make. They were like basically an organization that used to like publish all these house artists, and that was like a massive platform at the time when we were growing up. A lot of their music would have been on like the top 50 UK charts and stuff like that. Like you practically know a few of the tunes and stuff. Like you would have been around it at that age as well. But like now when I go back, or like some of them, sometimes I haven't taken them out on my playlist and it'll come on. I'm like, oh, I just like get flashbacks to the way I acted like back then and stuff. And it's like now it's like the last thing I'd ever want to be at is like a rave, because I'm just not into that music at all. Like I do like a few electronic and dance songs, but like I overall like it's the last genre of music I'd put on if I'm by myself. Like if I'm in work or if I'm in the house, like the last genre of music I'd put on is like house music or dance music or techno, or I don't know how people listen to it like a lot at home. Like have you ever listened to like heavy techno where it's just like a bass, like it's just bass, like it's not for me at all. Like I just don't know how people get into it.
There's only like that's the only genre of music that I like fully just cannot like
Yeah.
see the perspective like I don't love. I will mostly listen to that, and a lot of people hate on country and western. I don't mind listening to country and western. You have to out the back. You've been here before. Simone's dad plays country and western music 24/7 out in the yard, like 'cause he's managing the horses, and
Yeah.
that. And like
He's fitting the vibe.
it's not, yeah, but it really is.
Literally.
So I don't. I didn't mind it before, but like I mind it less now because I obviously listen to it a lot. But yeah, house and like techno and a little bit of kind of like heavy rap and grime, like the heavy stuff where like it's going so fast that you can barely understand them. That's where like I kind of go, yeah, I'm probably not going to take up your recommendation to listen to that. Whereas like most other artists, like if you recommend a song to me, if you recommend I listen to an album, I probably will listen to it.
Yeah.
Might take me a week or two to get around to it. But you know this as well. Like I always take you up on recommendations for this sort of
Yeah.
stuff. Like I will always get around to it, except if it's like I just a lot of it. And I know this is like the cliche thing for people who like don't get a genre, but like a lot of it does just sound the same to me. Like I know a lot of people would probably say that about like heavy metal and punk and stuff. Like and
Yeah.
I get that, but like it's just the start of every house song is.
Literally.
And then, like you said, a bass build up, and then
And a bass build up, yeah.
some mad thing. Like, yeah, it's just not for me. I just don't get it. Like,
Yeah, I feel like everything is music is so subjective, and like it's very much like movies in that sense as well, where like you could particularly like a genre of movies, but your mate wouldn't like have the same thing. Where I feel like we're kind of the same. Like like rap and hip hop would definitely be my top favorite genre. I know yours would be more like indie rock would be your background, but the good
Yeah.
thing is that I also enjoy that genre. That's probably my second favorite genre. So when me and Finn tend to send each other music, it's around that topic because like I wouldn't send Finn hip hop and rap
Stormzy.
music if I know, or I don't even listen to Stormzy, but like if like that style of music because I know he won't enjoy it unless I thought it was like way out left field, and I think like he actually might find this interesting if I send it to him. We could do that like another week. I'm getting loads of ideas for next future podcasts this week. We could do like things where like we send each other genres of music that we didn't think, because like I'm not a big fan of country and western music, so maybe you could show me country and western music and I could show you some like amazing like hip hop and rap music that doesn't like that you may not have even heard before, which might be
I think
interesting. I think that's a cool concept.
that's a good. I like that
Yeah,
idea.
yeah,
Like I think
yeah,
it's that like shoots me back to when you were home last time I saw you in September, and
yeah.
we were so I went and picked Imran up illegally, but don't say nothing. The
Don't
guards
say
don't say
it.
nothing.
Well,
So
he,
actually no, sorry, I didn't pick you up. No, sorry, this is September, so you were home at Christmas, so it was the time before that. So I drove out to
yeah,
brunch with Simone, and we met Nicola and Imran, and that was great. And we were talking. We were like we'd gone for food or something like that, and I picked. So I was dropping the guys back, and I think we were just talking about like Post Malone, and we were like, "Oh, we love his new
yeah,
country song," and you were like, "Post Malone has a country song," and we were like, "Yeah,
yeah.
it's deadly." So like me and Simone are absolutely vibing up the front to. I had some help by Post Malone, and we're like, and like Imran's like, "No, I don't like country." Like, Imran's like just like like being like, no, I'm not having any of this, like and we're like, no. So we get into Betsy, load up the car, We all get into it, like get in, and we show, we stick on. I had some help by posting on. Imran was just in the back on, not having any of this. No, not
Nah,
at
it's
all.
not for me. Like, I
I
don't
think
know if
Nicola
it's
enjoyed
just a
it.
vibe. I don't know if it's just a. I just, for me, the songs are all repetitive and talking about the same thing. But then again, like we just said, like a lot of rap artists is just them talking about like money, but and like getting bitches and buying mansions and shooting people. But like then again, I guarantee that most of the artists in them genres are actually talking about stuff that's actually happening in their environments. Like country western music are talking about depressing shit because that's what's actually happening to them in their lives. Now there is people that just like lie because they want to fit into the whole genre of the music, which does happen. Like many artists have done that before, like in the past, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that is definitely a good concept we could
And
go into.
then just to like subvert that, the next song that was on the queue for the playlist was a Hawaiian roller coaster ride from the Lilo and Stitch
Oh,
soundtrack.
slapper, slapper.
Banger.
Um,
And like I'm annoyed because that's gonna, that's probably gonna be all over the internet now in the next few weeks because people are
yeah,
gonna
of
see the
course.
live. I think
The
the
live
live action
action.
film comes out in 2 weeks, and it's gonna be all
Yeah,
over the internet again.
buzzing
Like
for it.
that's like me being like a narcissist and being like, yeah, but I was listening to that before it was cool.
Yeah,
I've had that on my
yeah, yeah.
playlist for 2 years, lads. Like
It
I've
was
been
like when the
sorry, go on.
Lion King, when the live action Lion King just came out. It was the same thing. Like all the songs were popping off from the soundtrack. Was like, mate, I grew up on that shit. Like it's like, don't even try to start me. Like you've never listened to this in your life.
I was
Jesus.
I've recently added to my driving playlist the song from Mulan. You know the song where it's "Be a man, he must be strong enough to." I don't know the lyrics. I haven't
It's when he's
listened
in
to
the
it.
training camp. That's a
Yeah,
slapper.
man. But well, do you know what? Right, the first minute really isn't. It's
No,
the
it's the
first
build up.
minute's
It's the
quite
build up. It's the
slow. It's
build
the
up.
build up, but then once you get to the "Be a man, we must be strong as a pouring rain," that's
Yeah.
a
And I
banger.
don't like musicals, but I love kids' movies, and I love soundtracks in kids' movies because they just slap. Like especially the old G's ones, like the ones we grew up on as well. They're so iconic.
I was over in my auntie Kira's last night with like the
Yeah.
fam, and like we moved from because it was gorgeous out yesterday, and it was starting the sun got off the garden, so we went inside. So like my uncle stuck was just like looking for something to stick on in the background, like when he went on and The Greatest Showman was an RTE, and me and him looked at each other like yeah, and Simone looks at me and goes. No, it's not happening. And he turned it on, and like it literally like was a shot of Hugh Jackman's face, and it just cut to the break. And he was like,
Oh.
it's a sign, man. It's not meant to be. But it was like in the room, like it was just me and him who were like like just buzzing to watch The Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
It's not happening. It's not happening.
Is Simone not into it? Is she not into
She
musicals?
won't give it a go, man. She won't watch it.
Yeah.
You enjoyed it, didn't you? You didn't
I
think it was
thought
amazing.
I didn't think it was amazing, but I thought the idea behind the movie was good. Although I didn't enjoy the singing parts of the musical, which is funny to say because it's a musical. I did enjoy the concept, and like I thought the acting was good on the whole basis of the film, I suppose.
The only one that I would say is to just watch it and give it a go. If you don't, I'll never ask you to watch another musical
Hamilton.
again.
I knew he was going to say it. I literally said it.
Hamilton. Anybody who was listening knows Hamilton is fucking whopper.
I did see a video like last week, and I think I forgot to send it to you, but I was only thinking about it. It was like a guy with his girlfriend, and it's like his girlfriend brought him to see Hamilton live, and he's like mad into rock music and stuff like that. And then they saw it in the UK, and then they arrived back to the States, and it's like first day back from home, and he's like watching it like each day, each week, and he like starts knowing all the songs. I think what I'll do is I'll keep it for when you and Simone come over, and maybe we could watch it.
I would not recommend we do that because it's 3 hours.
Okay.
Okay,
maybe.
Gonna watch.
Okay.
We'd watch Sing Street while we're
Sing
there.
Street, yeah. Sing Street is one of them where...
I just think it'd take a lot of time out of the little time.
yeah.
4 days.
True. 4 days, yeah.
Oh, I actually. Well, this is like this is going to be horrible for the people listening to the podcast. But once we finish recording, I have something to talk to you about that actually.
Okay.
Just quick side now on that after we start recording. This is what we were saying last week of like, you know, we're not just collaborative partners, we're actually friends outside the podcast.
Yeah,
right?
imagine that. No way. We're actually giving each other information for future plans during the podcast.
Yeah, like this. When I come to his apartment, it's not a business trip. We're actually friends.
Yeah, crazy. Well, it actually is a business trip because I think we're going to do a live podcast. But
yeah, I've been thinking about that. I need to work out like the logistics.
Yeah.
How we're going to do that.
And another discussion for off the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I just want to apologize before we move on. Because I've been sniffling this whole podcast. Basically, the pollen is really high in Switzerland, and I haven't been prepared with the hay fever tablets. And it's like, I don't get like why I was put on this earth to be, you know, abused by grass. Essentially, you're abused by pollen that falls from a tree onto grass. Like, Jesus Christ.
Save the bees. Yup.
I do respect, love the bees.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
Man, today, I was dying. Like, I got out of the shower and my nose was so raw. And I was like to Nick, I was like, I can't go on the podcast like this. I was like fucking moisturising my nose and shit.
Yeah, I have to say, I'd take psoriasis over hay fever every day of the week.
Yeah. Oh man, it's awful. Like, and there's days where it's like it won't hit me at all during the day, and then once all the antihistamines and I have like eye drops and like basically like Vaseline. It's kind of like a antihistamine Vaseline that you put under your nose that blocks all the pollen. But the problem is when you shower in the evening time, it's like all the pollen is just like evaporated onto your skin, and you're like, oh shit! So it's just hitting you then for like 2 hours. Oh man, it's rough. It's rough. Shout out to my pollen abusers.
Yeah,
I should say pollen. Probably should have said pollen victims, but anyway, we move.
I just noticed as well, just as we're both wearing t-shirts that have some reference to Dave Grohl.
Yeah,
Nirvana. You have Dave. So we both have t-shirts.
Yeah, we actually both have Dave on it.
We both currently have Dave Grohl on our t-shirts. Hold on, where is he on mine? Let me stand up.
Sorry for the Spotify listeners.
Yeah, Spotify listeners, you're kind of just fucked on this one. So I'm talking now, so it's going to be on me. So wait, hold on. There he is. There's Dave. Okay, up there, and then if Imran starts speaking.
Yeah, and then there's Dave there as well.
On the right hand side.
On the right hand side. Yeah, that's obviously we know who that is.
Speaking there, so Imran needs to speak again and say on the right hand side.
Yeah, on the right hand side. Yeah, that's it. That's it there. Yeah.
Absolute pros at Zoom recording.
Yes, we are professionals.
Would you be more of a Nirvana or a Foo Fighters guy?
Definitely more of a Nirvana fan. But I have got into the Foo Fighters a lot more recently, actually. What happens is I tend to go through phases where I love Nirvana, and then I go through phases where it's like, oh, I just can't stand listening to them. I don't know if you ever get like that with a band. Do you know what? That's like me, and funny enough, that's me with Oasis. I think like maybe once every 2 years I go through a patch for like 2 months where I'm like addicted to Oasis, and then I'm like, I don't want to listen to them for the next like 8 months.
I kind of like that with Arctic Monkeys.
Yes,
Now,
another
I
band as
do,
well. Yeah,
I do genuinely like when they come on the car, like when they come on shuffle. I generally will listen to the song, like, but I wouldn't be like seeking out to listen to the Arctic Monkeys albums
yeah,
for a
yeah.
while. But then, like, I'll go through like a phase every, like I said, year and a half, 2 years or something like that, where like I'll listen to all the albums for like a month or two straight. Like, especially like I've always had this has always been an unpopular opinion, but this is my personal favorite Arctic Monkeys album is Suck It and See, which I think a lot of people would say is probably one of their worst albums, but I love it. Well, maybe not after the most recent two. I like their most recent two albums, The Car and Tranquility Base. I do like them.
Tranquility
They
Base
are,
is actually my favorite, which is a bit very, very unpopular opinion because it's very much one of them albums you get it or you don't.
yeah.
I think so anyway. That's
Yeah,
my favorite.
I really like the album as well. I really liked the tour. Like that was the first time we saw them. I
Yeah,
thought like
yeah.
it was a great. I thought like I would have loved to have seen like them tour AM though.
Of
Like that's
course,
like,
of course, of course. Yeah, like everyone knows it's a slapper. I think the thing about the AM is it's so popular that I don't want to say that that's like my favorite album, but it's in the top three. Like realistically, you got
it's
to
like
be
saying your
big
favorite
thing.
Nirvana albums.
Nevada
Like,
song, yeah, literally, but it is like,
But like it's popular for a reason. Like this was
yeah,
like I think people like are like that. Like it's like with other bands. Like you have like Green Day. People would be like, "Oh, what's your favorite Green Day album?" If you say American Idiot, it's almost like, "Oh,
oh
you don't actually
yeah.
know. You're just you don't know." It's like, man, it's popular for a reason. Like
It's my it's my biggest thing with the hipsters as well, right? And I'm saying this as facts, right? Why do you always have to pick some niche ass song that no one's ever heard of, like a fucking triple deck demo that they made in like 2004 is your favorite song? Me, I was going to say Teenage Turtles. Ninja Turtles. Yeah, if Teenage Spirit is your favorite song by Nirvana, then good.
yeah,
Good.
it's a
I'm
great
glad.
song.
I'm
It's one of
glad.
the most
It's a
streamed
banger.
songs ever for a
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah. I'm the banger. Yeah, it's not my favorite, but yeah, respect.
No,
Respect.
this is it. Like I don't like now like do you know what, right? The exception to that, the only exceptions that I will give is an Oasis song. If you say Wonderwall,
If you say Wonderwall, you need to check yourself.
yeah, because it's over. Like honestly, I have PTSD from Wonderwall. I actually haven't heard that song in a while.
I don't want to
I
listen to
think
it.
it's a good thing. It's kind of gone out of the public consciousness for a while. Like like I think
hate
when
that
people
song.
think Oasis now, it's kind of gone away from Wonderwall and it's gone to like Don't Look Back in Anger and Live Forever and stuff like that. It's not. Whereas it used to just be Wonderwall before, But that's the exception to that rule. But if your favorite Arctic Monkey song is "Do I Want to Know," man, you got fucking
Banger.
Matt Helders on the drums, fucking slapping it up. You got Josh Homme producing it. You got Alex Turner with those fucking 50s, 60s vocals. Like it slaps
He was in
and
there.
it's class.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Alex Turner also is like a really underrated vocalist. I think people are going to look back and be like, he was onto something.
Yeah, facts. Especially like when you like see where he was in 2006 when they first dropped
Yeah.
their first
Yeah.
album, and where they are now with The Car. Like is it one thing? Like I would definitely say like I don't think The Car is a bad album, but it's definitely my least favorite Arctic Monkeys album.
Yeah, Sam.
I've only listened to it like 2 or 3 times.
Twice.
A lot of
I
the
did.
songs were better when I saw them on tour though. With you, wasn't it?
Yeah. We seen him twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did like a lot of the songs more when I saw them live, 100%. But it's the one that I've definitely listened to the least. But the recordings on that album are like some of the nicest like the vocal recording on that album. Like this is me being like very music nerd geek of like what microphone is he using, what are they doing to the room to make it sound like that. But it's one of the nicest recorded albums I've ever listened to. Like again, the music isn't my favorite, but I love how it's recorded.
Yeah, you could have just said production, but yeah, we'll move. for any music person, for me, it's like, yeah, the production was good.
I was just trying to add in some helpful filler rap.
Yeah.
But
On to the next topic.
I actually, funnily enough as well, right? So it's still on the high of since we recorded the last podcast, I didn't have my license, so I've got my license since we last.
Do you want to pull it up to the camera? Do you want to? Go on.
Actually,
I know you want.
hold on.
I know you want to.
Actually, no, I'm not going to.
Actually, don't do that. But yeah, just show your face. Just show your face.
Right, hold on. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna have to.
Everyone's like taking down his contact details.
Get rid of the screen. If everyone's getting ready to screenshot. Okay, hold on a minute. So if
That's what she said.
Hold on.
Hey, it's your
You can't
boy.
really see that, can you?
Oh, just focused there.
It's just focused there. And
Handsome little
again,
devil.
sorry to the Spotify listeners. Spotify is really not where it's at the moment,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
But yeah, she has arrived, and I was out on Friday, and I got pulled by the guards.
No way.
Yeah. For no reason, it was just a random stop, and they were like, "Yeah, we're just checking everything's in order."
Oh, alright, they're looking for something.
Checked everything, checked my license, checked my tax and my entity, and blah. They were like, "Yep, grand, good to go." It was just like I think they were setting up a checkpoint in Inchicore, and they were like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
you just got pulled here," like, you know. So I was like, "Yeah."
That's the only time I've ever been pulled
I was
either.
shit myself that like I had like done something like severely wrong, like I'd like turned out of a corner at the wrong spot.
Did you realise you ran over 3 kids down the road and they're caught to the bottom of your tyre?
I thought they were pebbles.
Oh,
Sorry.
jeez, I apologise.
But yeah, I was at the Krusty Corner last week as well. I put that on our Instagram story.
He sent it to me. Lads, he sent it to me.
I honestly could. I'm not gonna. I said this to Simone. I looked at Simone dead in the eye and I said, "You're gonna laugh at me, or you're gonna break out in front of me, or whatever." I could cry right now. Like I genuinely could have cried. Like I could have. I just like got like 2 bites into it, and I was just like, I have worked so fucking hard for this moment right here to just have the free will to get up and go to it, you know. Because like I'd been to, like, I think the last time I was there was just before you left, and you moved over and we went that day.
Heartbroken.
So it's been over a year since I had it, which is sad in itself, like, you know.
Did we get crusty when I came back?
No, we went to a
I haven't
cafe
had-
in
I-
Blanche the first time, and then you came over to my house.
I haven't had a crusty in over a year.
Yeah.
What the
we'll
hell?
solve that next time you're home.
Whoa.
We said
this
next time
is-
you're home, we're gonna like do like a tour. Like I'll pick you up. We're gonna go to Krusty, and we're gonna go to a couple of spaces.
Oh my god, I haven't had crusty in over a year. Lads, I'm having like a out of body experience right now. Like I'm going through it.
It's hard. I cannot explain, lads, how good it is. Like you just need to be there, and you need to experience it.
That's what I miss about being home. Because I know for a fact that me and home were right. If as soon as Finn would have got a car, we would have done like car meetups. I'm just seeing with the windows open, just eating our chicken rolls, looking at each other like, is that good, man?
Both in Betsy, like, you know, so like
Yeah, both in bed.
One of us gets out and like sits in a stranger's car and just like window to window, be like, "Oh yeah, grand," and then some woman comes back, "Where the fuck's in my car?"
In fairness, though, if I never would have left, you would have never had Betsy.
No, this is true. That kind of that could not have worked out any better.
Yeah.
For
It
the
actually
two
did.
of us, like, you know.
Yeah.
And like I remember before, when like this was coming up, and I was thinking of asking you, could I buy it? And I was like, I don't know whether one, you'd arranged to sell it, or two, whether that was a bit insulting or whatever. And Imran texted me and was like, "Do you want to buy this?" So yeah, we
It was
both
so
got on
handy.
our best pawn stars. Like, I'll give it for this price. No, blah, blah, do our negotiations.
I remember I dropped it to him.
We were so uncomfortable doing that with each other as well.
Yeah, I basically like came to Finn and like I dropped the car off, but I was like I was sort of like I was like adulting him. Like it was like a very like manly exchange, but we felt so awkward because like we're mates. So I was just like, "Oh, and this is here, and you know here," and then I told him about the CD. I don't know if we talked about this previously. I don't think we have we talked about this in the
I don't know
podcast?
if we talked about this in the podcast.
Okay, basically when I bought the car originally. I had to drive the car back with Daria in the car, and we were just messing around on the radio and stuff. And Daria just clicked on CD, and basically, whoever had previously owned the car left like a Christmas album in the car. So, and this, by the way, like I bought this car in like June, so like me and Daria were just driving in like sunny Dublin on the M50, like driving back home.
Driving home for Christmas is just blaring.
Driving home for Christmas, just blaring down the M50. So then now I said to Finn, like, when he passes the car along, which eventually he will, I'd say in a couple of years when Betsy gets a bit older, we have to keep the CD in the car. Like, it's just like it's like a little.
Get it to be a running joke.
Yeah, but you got. Don't even say it to the next person. Just like let them, when they eventually get the car, just like accidentally press it and be like, "Oh no way."
Yeah, hopefully the person who buys off me is listening back to this episode. So yeah. Give me a best price, brother.
£1 fish.
Yeah. Okay. So we're getting on in our recording. We're just over. Fuck now. We're like, it's crazy, right? You can tell we bought the Zoom Pro, lads, because we just keep going over 40 minutes. Like we're not even like we're not even attempting to keep it under 40 anymore. Like it's just like
Time management is down. Meeting is down to be had after this.
oh, it's just crazy. But yeah, so we're just over 40 minutes into recording now. So we're on to the topic for the week, and the topic for the week is I basically we're gonna do like a two-parter to this, so like maybe we'll do it next week or the week after because it was we're doing like alternate weeks of ideas, so maybe next week is mine, or I don't know if Imran wants to do this next week as well. But my topic for this week is the things that, well, initially I was saying to Imran what he doesn't miss about Ireland. But what we're going to do for this episode is I'm going to kind of give a couple of reasons why I would struggle to leave Ireland, and then we'll do the opposite then in a couple of weeks where it'll be like, what Imran is kind of like happy that he's left behind in Ireland, like, like what parts of Ireland he does not miss, like what have the benefits been, because I kind of just threw to him quite last second. It's a thinker as well, like, it's something that you'd want to think about for a while, whereas like I'm just like, I just love me dog. I don't want to go.
Yeah. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Maybe think of Bruno.
Actually, yeah, that was quite a personal.
That was horrible.
Sorry, I did not mean to drag Bruno into this. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, Bruno. We love you.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just the kind of like things like I don't know, like for me, I've always struggled with the idea of like wanting to leave Ireland, like because I've obviously seen you guys do it, and I've had like a lot of other friends do it as well, and it's something that I've never like wanted to. Like me and Simone considered it last year when I was laid off, and like things were really up in the air, and it was looking like we were going to be able to afford to live here, so we considered moving and stuff. But that was the kind of furthest it ever got, was like kind of 2 or 3 weeks of conversing and being like, how would we do this, and like, is it possible, and how much have I gotten savings, and how much have you got to like, plan it out and stuff. But it never really went further than that kind of stage, like. But yeah, I don't know, like I think for me, like being away from my family would be a big thing, and like, it's obviously a sacrifice that everyone who does choose to do it has to make. Like, I'm sure people who have closer families than me have done it as well. Like, but it's something that like kind of like sticks out to me of like, I don't think I could go that long without seeing like my grandparents and my aunties and stuff. Like, like I think the most I kind of usually go without seeing them is like a month or two. Which I know other people will see their family much more often than that. Like, but a big factor to that has been like my driving. Like, I've had my license just over a week now, and I've seen my grandparents 4 times. So that'll tell you how ramped up it's gotten since like I've had that access. Like,
Yeah, they're gonna tell you to get rid of the license now.
Yeah. There's no more biscuits, Sean. Fuck off.
I already gave you 4 cups of tea, Sean. What else kind of things were you thinking about?
I don't know, like there's something that like kind of like came to my, somebody in work or somebody said this last week. The weather in Dublin the last week has been class. It's been like 20 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. Everyone's out walking their dogs. Everyone's out doing their like just shaking off that seasonal depression. And like when it's sunny in Dublin, it's such a nice place to be. Like I feel like that's where like a lot of like the Irish kind of goodwill and spirit kind of comes from, like, because obviously you'll get more tourists as you come into summertime and stuff. You'll get more people doing city breaks, and you'll have people come over for Paddy's Day and that sort of stuff as well. And I feel like that's where a lot of the best of Irish society comes out, like, and like it was just something that, like, obviously I'm not just staying for summertime in Ireland, like, but I feel like I still try to see the best parts of Dublin and Ireland in that way, like, like how nice the country is and how in general nice the people are, like, it's it's I don't know, it's like it's always something that's like kind of stopped me. Like I think I'd be afraid of like moving somewhere and like not being able to have the same conversations I can have over here, like, like with a language barrier, which is something that you've kind of talked about before, like, that's actually crazy to like think that like you're like just off out and work speaking a different language. Like that's mad to think of now. Actually, that's just come to my head.
I mean, it is an English speaking pub technically, technically, but the only reason is because they want to give the illusion that we're like an Irish pub. But it's funny because we're speaking English. But like when I'm with the staff, they try to speak German to me because that's just them trying
To help you, yeah.
to help me get better understand. For me, the thing is like I'm not the best at speaking languages. I've never have been, but I've always had a good awareness of like the buzzwords. So like I can get the basics down to a good T, which then helps me develop over a while. Now I've only been here a year, and I can get by with like genuinely the basics. So like I know how to have a conversation at like the shops and stuff. Like if I need to ask for advice, I'll be able to have a small awareness about that. But anything above that, not yet so far. But I get what you're.
Language, because Nicola was good at languages in school, wasn't she?
Yeah, she's a bit better than me. I mean, no surprise there. We've talked about this before. It's not a language that we both have an interest in, and that's not me having a diss at anyone that's German. It's just that because where we are, it's like their own dialect of the language. So, for example, like you've got High German, which they would be like fluent German speakers. Then you've got like A2, which is like general German. Basically, that's what like Nicola's learning. And then you've got like Swiss German, which is them putting their own like slang or version of German when they're speaking, which obviously we're living in tune, so that's tendency there. That would be the way most of them talk. But it genuinely is like chalk and cheese. Like there's been times where I've been at the bar, and like someone would ask for like a small beer, and I'd be like, okay, no problem, and then I bring the small beer, and then it'd be like, no, like I wanted like like it's basically like a vine beer, which is like kind of like a wine beer, and I'd be like, but did you not just say thing? And like I'd be talking to the guy at the bar beside me and be like, is that what they ordered? And he was like, no, you were right, what you brought over, but they just said it in a phrase that sounded exactly the same as that. Yeah. Sometimes it's like, but he was like, if you're like a foreigner learning A2, which is basically the general basic. I know this is a very boring conversation for our listeners, but I'm just trying to explain it as best as I can.
It is like this is all part of like the dilemma that comes with like with being abroad, like
abroad, so it's just funny. Like I think that kind of style of learning German, it takes you a while to learn that. Obviously, you have to be more exposed to it, which I'm not currently because I work in the kitchen. And yeah, that's basically my tandem over. What I would say from that point of view would be is because you were saying before Simone was initially thinking about going to Finland, and if I'm correct, they do speak English there, but they also speak Finnish.
I think it's Finnish. Yeah,
Finnish, could be wrong. I can look that up. But how would you think you would have adapted in that case if you had to let's just say in another universe you had moved? How do you think you would have dealt with that kind of basis?
I don't know. Like I think it's more like I don't think I wasn't terrible at languages in school. Like I was pretty good at Irish.
Yeah.
But that was because like I really I wanted to be good at Irish in school. Like I wasn't the best in the class, but I wasn't the worst either. I was grand. Like
shit out the joy.
Yeah, shit out the joy. I thought you were going to say to Colm.
Oh, Colm. Oh, shout out to Colm too. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I could get my head around the language thing, but I don't know. I think it's like a cultural thing. But then there's also like kind of one of the things I was expecting you to bring up on your end of things is like because it's something I noticed it today. I literally noticed it. Like I was out at 6 o'clock driving around with Simone, and we stopped off and got food. And we're in the queue waiting, and some fella was just saying some fucking horrible stuff about like immigrants and stuff. And I feel like that sort of stuff is really kind of like seeped into like some parts of Irish culture. Obviously not all, but a large enough proportion that like there was a rally in town not long ago about immigration and stuff and it's just really fucking annoying, And they're also the type of people that you're not gonna. You can't really correct them in public as well because they're not that type of person. Like you can tell that they want to have like a confrontation on it, and yeah, I don't know. Like it's something that I've kind of just noticed pop up in Irish culture that I'm just not super proud of. Like, is that something that you like? We spoke about it a little bit before working in retail in Ireland that you would experience like bits of racism. Like, is that like I know you mostly work in the kitchen and stuff in your job? Like, is that something you've like had any interaction with at all while you've been over there?
I could go all day talking about my own opinion about what happened the other day with the right wing protests in Ireland about immigration, but I'm not going to. Just because, like me and Finn have talked about this before, we both don't know enough about what exactly was going on there. But no, to answer your question, no, I haven't experienced anything dramatically because Switzerland itself kind of lacks, and I have, this is just personal opinion now. I find that Switzerland lacks a lot of personal identity, essentially because they're in between Italy, Germany,
France, isn't it?
and France. Sorry, that it's kind of like they basically are a mix of all three cultures put into one, and I don't know. I've noticed it here in the past year. It's the only difference I would say from being Irish is with Ireland. It comes this kind of idea of, I'm not gonna say nationalism because that's not the word I'm trying to look for. But most people that are Irish are proud to be Irish. Like
Yeah.
if anything, I stand on the right to say that I am Irish, and I know I've we kind of talked about this previously before with the issues I've had about saying that I'm Irish because you always get asked the question. The follow up question is like, oh, but where are you really from? Because they hear the name. But for me, living here, I'm noticing is it's not very much a part of their culture where they like dominantly would show that they're Swiss. Like it's
Yeah.
not like a proud there's kind of this like idea in Ireland where you wear the green on the back of the back of your shoulders, where you would say like I am Irish, like I identify as Irish, like I'm proud to be Irish. Because as a country, we are very much like that. Where I just don't find that here. Maybe it's just my own personal experience being here. I haven't noticed it yet, but I'd be intrigued to see if there is anyone else that is Swiss that could maybe talk on the topic. I might actually reach out to someone at work to get a different perspective for next week about that, because I think that might be an interesting idea, like how they would say.
If there's anybody else who like is also in a different country, like if you're in Australia or if you're in Spain or if you're anywhere, and you maybe notice something similar, or maybe the opposite of what we're talking about. Like, you could say, oh, like if there's a country out there that's even more proud to be like of their nationality than Irish people are of being Irish. You know, I think a big part of that though was like a lot of the oppression that the Irish people went through
Yeah.
in the 1800s and the early 1900s before we gained our independence. Like, that's where I feel that kind of stems from, because like even up until like the 50s and 60s, like you still had a lot of places in England that had posters up, and it's kind of like synonymous, and it's like it's like a lot of Irish will know about this. Like, there was signs in England that said no blacks, no dogs, no Irish.
Yeah.
And it was a big thing, and I think there's like a lot of that in it as well, where like it's still like it's not super old that type of stuff was happening. Like, where like you still experience quite a lot of like paddy racism in the UK, or there's still like you see how James McClean, for example, gets treated over in England. It's absolutely appalling.
It's ridiculous. It's appalling.
It's blatant racism that the FA and the just the English government in general just continue to ignore because he is Irish, because he's white, it doesn't matter, his skin color doesn't matter, it's racism, he gets
and especially being from Derry, and I love the way how vocal he is about that, because he's talking on behalf of his community, what he's brought up in his environment, and he's standing up for that. And I've always backed James McClean about that. Like, I've respected the way he doesn't wear the poppy, and I don't know. I do want to agree with you on the fact that there is a problem in Ireland growing, and that rally was a big eye opening the other day.
We went from like a very happy episode to a very deep episode last week, and we've kind of
We've kind of done the same this week.
It's not as big of a spike. Like, it was like fairly mellow to start, but it's after getting very deep very quickly in the last 15-20 minutes of this.
Very current topics, though.
Yeah, no, but it's stuff that's important to talk about as well. Like,
Yeah, definitely
right.
agree.
Cool. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching or listening to The Distance Dilemma. This has been episode number 16, and yeah, my name is Shaun. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to hand you off to Imran.
Yeah, thanks so much for the support, guys, and tune in next week. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week for episode number 17.